Hey everybody, welcome back to Machine and Mentor. It's your mentor Robbie, and today we're going to talk about Excel with AI or any sort of spreadsheet with AI. So a lot of people are kind of complaining because they need to make dashboards, they need to clean data, and it's just really difficult. Actually, I was inspired by this from my wife because she was having a little bit of a hard time. So I'm going to try to use some common tools like ChatGPT and Google Sheets to kind of make this a little bit more accessible. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what we can come up with. It's not a problem. You have a spreadsheet, it's just full of data, it's dirty, hasn't been touched. What do I do? Well, first thing most people do is say, okay, ChatGPT, please clean this spreadsheet, make a dashboard, make no mistakes. Okay, so it probably will do some of those things, but it may not come out the way you want it to. So unfortunately, we have to kind of give more context, kind of give more detailed answers, better steps. So let's see how we can do that. So one thing I want you to think about is don't let AI do everything all at once, because unfortunately, unless you have a really good experience with prompt engineering, you will probably fail at this. So I don't want you to be a prompt engineer. I want you to just be a regular user trying to learn how to use AI better. So first thing we want to do, we want to give a prompt for having messy data, then to understand the data, then finally clean the data, and of course, then analyze, visualize, and then create the dashboard. So this is really important. So when we go step by step, we can make this a little bit easier on ourselves. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go through the whole steps. I'm going to kind of combine some steps to make it easier because let's be honest. I think if people went through 6 steps, they're going to get a little annoyed because they could probably do it themselves like that, right? So what we'll do is we're going to try to kind of condense that a little bit, make it a little bit more consumable to where you're not wasting so much time and you're actually getting ready and going with your project. All right. So remember, AI is your friend. It's not like a slave. One thing I think many people think about is it's just a tool. And it can be, yes. But I think as AI is becoming more integrated into our workplace, into our personal lives, we need to treat it more as like a companion. So remember, it can help you do a lot of things. It can give you advice, it can help you to spot problems in your data, explain formulas, do different things like this. So I would definitely say that this is like a really good tool to use, but treat it well, but treat it with respect because as we start to use more AI and robots, well, it could be a problem. All right, so here's problem one. Clean the data. So remember, review this data set and identify potential data quality problems, like for duplicates, blanks, and values. Explain what I should fix and why. And now we're going to add a little bit more to that. We're going to say, once you've explained, please go ahead and clean the data for me. This will make life a little bit easier, right? So this will help us do that. Now, step two, analyze the data. So I want to understand this data and I want to know what questions I should ask. Recommend useful KPIs, pivot tables, Excel formulas, explain each recommendation in simple language. This is important because, we need to think about having things explained to us. Because guess what? Excel, Google Sheets, all that stuff, it's very complicated. I think you almost have to be very fluent in that to use them effectively. So if we can be explained to us in simple language, that'll be very useful. Okay, prompt three. I'm building an Excel dashboard for a manager, recommend 3 to 5 KPIs, the best charts for each, and a simple dashboard layout. Tell me what business questions each visual answers. Now, we can also take this a step further and we can say, once you've done this, please go ahead and clean the data and help me to create a dashboard in Google Sheets. This is great because now we're kind of going into a 3-step process. But the reason why I'm showing it to you in this way is because I want you to think about what we're doing. We're cleaning the data, we're trying to understand the data, and then we're kind of getting ready for the dashboard. Okay. So think about that because when you break it down into chunks like that, one, it's more consumable for the AI, and then two, it's consumable for us. So I think that's something we must think about. Okay. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with ChatGPT. So we have to pull this up. I'm not even logged into ChatGPT. It's all good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and try to see what we can do. So I'm going to go ahead and give my first prompt to him. So I'm going to actually just go ahead and copy and paste from my notes. And then I'm going to upload a file. So give me just a moment to upload that. Okay, so on this one, actually, I did have to sign in. So I apologize for that. So yeah, so when you're in here, you have to sign in, but that's okay. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say, okay, review the data set, identify potential problems, look up and give me that. And then once you have done this, please clean the data. Just stage it So we can move to the next step. Okay, so I said stage because what it's going to do is it's going to hold on to that data and it's not going to do anything. It's just going to go ahead and say, okay, I'll do that. Thank you. And then hold it. And then later we can go through the steps and then finalize everything. So this is kind of important because we don't want it to just build like a whole new data and then upload the data again. It's just kind of repetitive. So what I'm asking it to do is I'm asking it to stage it, hold it, and then we can move on. And this is kind of a more technical term for like software developers. So when we're getting ready to push code, we stage it, meaning that it's ready, but it's not going anywhere or it's not being used at the moment. So that's kind of what we want to do here. So we'll give AI a moment to do that. And it's really important to let it inspect the Excel sheet, do its thing, and it'll come out with something really useful. So I think this is very interesting. So let's give it a moment to just go ahead and do that. Okay. So here it kind of gave us like a breakdown. I reviewed the dirty sales file and I staged the version. So now it's saying, okay, duplicate what I found, what is fixed, or what to fix and why. And it'll kind of give you all this listing. Very good. So now cleaning stage completed. I created a new sales page with 500 clean records. That's really good. I can download it if I want to. It's very useful. So now let's go on to the next step. So I want to do this. So I want to understand this data set. What questions should I ask? Recommend useful KPIs, pivot tables, and Excel formulas. Explain each recommended in each sales language. Simple language. Okay, so here we go. So actually it's going to give you some options, but for now, let's just skip that because we don't really want to focus on that. So there you go. So here it tells you kind of how much revenue you should ask, what can I be doing for each one. This is great. Recommended KPIs, do this. Okay, recommended sales. Perfect. So it kind of gives us a really detailed breakdown, which I think is very, very useful. And it gives us some Excel formulas so you can plug and play and do all these things. So very, very nice. You can see that it's very detailed, which is what we want. So now we want to go ahead and finalize this idea. So we're going to go ahead and do this. So we're going to copy our last prompt. So I'm building a Excel sheet now. Let's say we're going to Google Sheet dashboard for a manager. Recommend that you have KPIs, the best charts for each manager, demo question ideas. Once we have done that, please use the clean staged sheet and build a dashboard. A dashboard. So let's see what it did. What it should do is it should go ahead and retrieve the clean data we originally did. It's going to build our recommended ideas. It's going to then go ahead and build the visual. So this will save us a lot of time and interesting artifacts, and then later we can save that. So let's give it a moment to think, and then let's see what happens. Okay, now we're back. So let's take a look. So for a manager facing Google Dashboard, I would deliberately keep it at 5 KPIs, 4 charts, and a manager idea. So here's like the breakdown of what it recommends, what it would do. I would not put any possible metrics on the front page. Okay, that's very useful for dashboard layouts. This is how I would visualize it. Why these charts? And then here actually gives us the dashboard work page. Okay, so let's see kind of what that looks like. Here it actually will just give us a visual, and this will be useful. So let's see what it comes up with. Hopefully something useful. I've never really done this too much, but I think it'd be nice if it does. And I really am excited about ChatGPT because I think it's come a long ways when it comes to building ideas. Okay, so here we have some, yeah, it has a pretty good idea. It has some good layouts, good dashboards, stuff like this. So we can just go ahead and download that. And then what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and put that into Google Sheets. So let's go ahead and jump over to Google Sheets and see what it does. Okay, and we're back. So I apologize for anyone who's like, why does he keep pausing the video? So the reason why is because usually I don't want people to find my sensitive data when I'm uploading or downloading files. So here I'm just going to try to focus on the quality so people can see what we're doing. So all we did here to just demonstrate, all we did was to import, and then obviously you can already see it's there. We can upload, and then we can do our dashboard. So if remember, that was the downloaded dashboard. So if we look at it, this is the full dashboard. Actually, it looks pretty nice. So we can see things like total revenue, orders, average sales, monthly metrics, regional metrics, performance, sales performance, product performance. Pretty nice. Okay, so this is great because now we can sit there and say, wow, this was actually something that was done. So now just to kind of show you proof of concept, we can look back this was all of our dirty data. It's pretty big, pretty large amount. And then here's the clean data. So it kind of cleaned it up, made it more human consumable, right? And then finally the dashboard. So this is really great. So then if we wanted to, we can, present it, download it, whatever. So for example, we can sit there and say, okay, I want to download this. I want to save that as a PDF. I can do that, whatever you need to do. But now it's ready to be presented and you can use it for your work. So guys, hopefully this was kind of a quick and dirty way to show you how to use like ChatGPT and like Google Sheets to be able to develop this. Hopefully that made sense. And if you guys liked it, please let me know. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you and take care.